We got some questions from some listeners I'd love to go over. So let's read some of these off. I think people like to hear from listeners also. Number one, can you explain the difference between a Roth IRA and a traditional IRA? Which one is better for somebody currently in their 40s? Yelisey, will you touch on, this is a great question. One of the questions we get, in a lot of the families that we meet with, they're already in their late 50s, early 60s. Do you contribute to a Roth all the way until retirement? How do you know when it's too late and you should just put money in the pre-tax bucket? Yelisey, what are your thoughts on that?
So on the surface, and questions from Elizabeth, so thank you, Elizabeth, for the question. On the surface, it seems like an easy answer, like, we should just be able to fire off a quick answer here, but it's actually a little bit more complicated, and without knowing her specific situation, it's really hard to say. And here's what I mean by that. If Elizabeth is actively contributing to her employer-sponsored plan, and she wants to make an IRA contribution, that contribution may not be deductible, right? Her best course of action for her might be the Roth IRA. Like on the surface of it though, like what are the differences, right? So a Roth IRA, that's money that you've already paid taxes on. When you make a contribution, that money has been taxed. It goes into the Roth IRA, and then it continues to grow. And then eventually when you pull the money out after 59 and a half without penalty, you get everything tax-free. The amount you put in initially that was already taxed, and all of the growth is also tax-free. So most of the time we joke, like if you could pick, you could just wave a magic wand, like where would you have all your money? Hey, you'd have it in the Roth IRA, right? Growing tax-free for you to enjoy and use eventually in your retirement without having to pay any taxes on the gain. However, right, most of us, maybe in our 40s, what if Elizabeth is a high income earner? What if she needs every dollar she has? And for her, the advantage isn't necessarily getting an after-tax contribution that provides no tax relief for her in any specific year, right? If you contribute to a Roth IRA, there is no tax benefit to you in that year. You pay taxes on the contribution, then you get it in there. Whereas in a traditional IRA, every dollar she puts into a pre-tax account, whether it's a traditional IRA or her 401k at work, that lowers her tax bill for that specific year. So depending on how much room she has in her budget, depending on what she's looking to accomplish, what bracket she's in, maybe the traditional IRA, that contribution, maybe that's attractive. Or maybe if Elizabeth has too much income, that might prevent her from making a Roth contribution because there's income limits on that. Or maybe Elizabeth's spouse is working and the spouse is contributing to the employer plan. So there's a lot of different variables. That's what I'm getting at. And so it's very difficult just on the surface to answer that question. And that's why it's important to sit down with somebody so that we can talk through all of these questions and give you some good advice, because there is a right answer in there somewhere. It's just with a limited amount of information, it's difficult to give you something with certainty.